come to the bold analysis. Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of Republic of Kenya, is asking the Cecil Mbarire, the Embu governor, why she should continue to serve as the UDA chairperson, and the president is visiting her county, and Embu County is the headquarters of Heckling.
I met with my sister Cess, the governor of Embu, who is also my sister and somebody I love and somebody we've walked a long journey together politically. Kawambia sasa wacha ni kuongeleshe my sister not as the Deputy President of Kenya. Wacha ni kuongelesha kama ndugu yako and your age mate, and you will do nothing about what I'm going to tell you. Amulisa Governor, how is it possible? You're the national chairman of UDA. You are a UDA governor and the national chairman of the ruling party. Your party leader, the president, comes to your hometown and is heckled. What reason do we have to have you on board as a... Yeah? How is that possible? It's not possible. Yeah. Vijana wanapigia rais hapo kelele. Ati rais amesema kitu ambayo labda hawapendi.
I find this question absurd, misplaced, and actually very unfair. The same question can be asked to Kindiki and ask him, why must he continue serving as the Deputy President of Republic of Kenya if the region he comes from is revolting from President Ruto? How is Mbarire's chairperson position as UDA chairperson related to the heckling incident in Meru? The politics of this country, I think Kithure Kindiki must accept that things are changing. And of course, one thing that still puzzles me, it is 2 months since President Ruto was heckled in Embu. But Kindiki seem not to be getting over. And they can't forget about it, or they can't let go of that heckling. But because Kindiki, I've always thought, and William Ruto, when he appointed Kindiki, when he picked Kindiki, he was with the card of Mount Kenya East in it. So on the very first event that Kindiki was attending alongside his boss, they were heckled. And they can't get over this. I really support Mbarire. And just blaming Cecil Mbarire for that heckling, ukweli, that is unfair. It's like, it's the same as what's happening. Let's look at, Muturi also comes from Embu. Muturi did a press briefing against President Ruto. Muturi tried to read President Ruto's speech in Embu, but that speech backfired. That speech was rejected. Can you say you want to blame Cecil Mbarire for that? Moses Kuria was attending an event in Muranga, the burial of the MCA Wenaina. William Ruto's speech could not be read in that place. Why? Is it because of governance? And if this is the thinking of Professor, then I think by 2027, Professor will not have anyone from Mount Kenya. You are blaming leaders for William Ruto heckling in Mount Kenya. That is a direction that to my end will not make any sense. And Professor is fighting a lost cause.
Kindiki ni mwenda wazimu. Kindiki kuambia Wakenya ati ile Kibaki alifanya miaka 5, William Ruto amefanya na miaka 2. Acha hiyo lugha wameanza ya msangalile ya upuzi ya wizi ya ukora ukonman. Acha kuongea sana, atuambie ni nini hiyo William Ruto amefanya na miaka 2 Kibaki alifanya na miaka 5. Ataje ni nini, aseme ni nini. Si kuropoka tu hapo unasema ati ile kazi William Ruto amefanya miaka 2, Kibaki alifanya ni kazi gani? Atuambie ni kazi gani, taja. Tuambie ni daraja ametengeneza. Tuambie nini amefanya, isipokuwa kuwa watoto wetu hapa mchana na marisasi. Isipokuwa abductions. Isipokuwa kuibia Wakenya through SHA program. Isipokuwa wizi na kupora mali ya umma na kupora mali ya umma, mashamba ya umma na kupora payslip ya wafanyikazi through fake affordable housing program. Nini ingine William Ruto amefanya hiyo Kibaki hakufanya? Kwa hivyo kama ni mwanaume na anamaanisha vile ambavyo anatuambia, atutajie nini William Ruto amefanya Kibaki hakufanya miaka 5. Atuambie, acha upuzi. Sasa hii Wakenya si wajinga na tutawajibu. Mkiongea asubuhi by saa 6 tunawajibu. Mkiongea saa 6 before mkule sapa tumewajibu. Sababu hii Kenya ni yetu na tuko na uhuru wa kuongea. Hatutapatia uongo nafasi katika Kenya hii. Kindiki, William Ruto amekutrain kukuwa conman na muongo. Tunajua. Lakini kama Wakenya sisi, kama vijana wa nchi hii, hatutawapatia nafasi ya uongo. Mtakuwa mnaongea asubuhi, saa 6 tumewajibu, tumeongea.
I remember Mbarire coming out to even castigate, and even herself, she was blaming others for that heckling. And she said it was organized by some other people. She even beseeched, videos are there, her asking the people not to heckle the president. That when they heckle the president, they're not getting development. But Mbarire, actually on this, if you ask me, Mbarire is fighting a lost cause. That is not what it should be. And indeed, that is not what it is. And listen to this gentleman. He is saying that what is Kindiki turning into? In fact, he would have remained in that security docket. And one thing that, and let me say something here, pay attention to this. State House and President Ruto's political, the political think tanks told Kindiki to counter Rigathi Gachagua in Mount Kenya. The reason why they told Kindiki now to be meeting those delegations, and in fact the delegation is a waste of resources. Why would the deputy president, why would a whole professor, a man who understands, prides himself on understanding what happens around government, ferry MCAs, village elders, and church leaders and elected leaders from Tharaka Nithi to drive all the way to Karen residence for a meeting of 2 hours discussing development of the region? If it is indeed development, why don't he just pick the elected leaders and ask them about priority developments from Tharaka Nithi? And since Kenya Kwanza came to power, since 2022, it is now that Kenya Kwanza are realizing they need to meet regional leaders and ask about priority developments. Is it not before 2022 general election, there were those economic forums where people said the things they wanted to be done? And even from that time, now you get elected, 2 years later, you meet delegation asking them about what they need, what needs to be done there, and of course, their political rallies. Now let me tell you, between now to 2027, Kithure Kindiki is going to expose how politically he's weak, or how politically he cannot mobilize. And I want to tell you, the first 1 month after Kindiki was actually inaugurated, he was not moving around the president, and he's tried to keep off the political discussion. And I remember the interview in December when he was asked about whether he's the Mount Kenya kingpin. He said, what is this discussion about the kingpin? He brushed off that discussion because he didn't want to be in the political ring. But with the broad-based reality, the president's team told him to counter Rigathi. There were Munyoro meetings. Now, by the time we get to 2027, it will be beyond any reasonable doubt that Professor cannot marshal the mountain. He's been told that you are the person to deliver Mount Kenya. Tomorrow, he's supposed to be in Nyeri, in Kieni, to be hosted by Wanaina for some affordable housing and launch of a road somewhere in Kieni. And then on 1st, he's supposed to be in Embu for some border group summit there. Now, Ruto has told him that in any case he fails, that is the litmus test. Kindiki cannot help Mount Kenya by victimizing leaders when the president is facing hostility. That to me is not it. And this video confirms the president is on a self-destruction mission.
I was shocked by the statements of the DP, I think day before yesterday, when they were loading a political party by Mr. Omalu, I believe.
On Monday.
On Monday, yeah.
The former deputy president.
The former deputy president. I was really shocked because his whistleblowing, even though there's a line in Shakespeare that says, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned," the whistleblowing is grounds for impeaching the president through the National Assembly. Because there's high crimes and misdemeanors in impeaching the president. And I think what they were talking about was misdemeanors and allegedly high crimes, because when you start saying that there's a couple of Indians inside the State House for 5 hours and the rest of the government is locked outside, I mean, that's a shocking allegation against the honor of the president. That's number one. Number two, I think that what the president is doing is that he's now way past being an autocrat. He has now assumed the awesome powers of an imperial presidency because he's killed the judiciary, the National Assembly. We know what's going on. I mean, it's an open secret on the streets. The tribal coalition that is in the National Assembly is appalling when the philosophy of the country is based on the thinking of Farouk Kibet. We are lost. We really are lost. And I think that my former party members here are sitting in the government, and the experience of being in an opposition or trying to be a talisman in this country so that we can get a better Kenya is based on a philosophy that the Kikuyus refused to give us the vote, and they have now their comeuppance. You know what a comeuppance is? It means that when you get the revenge cycle is what Kenya now stands for. It's just appalling. The politics of the social democratic movement in this country is being killed by the man who's in charge of it, the captain himself, who has shaken hands with the most right-wing president we've had in this country since independence. Probably in the same level as Jomo Kenyatta and Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. He is trying to turn the clock back. He's trying to change the constitution. He's trying to extend his term. He's abducting people who don't agree with him. I'm surprised that I'm still going to my house in the evening, even though there's a lot of cars that follow me sometimes. And because maybe I worked with him at the Pentagon as a strategist, and I was, in charge of that thing. And maybe he knows where my heart is, and it's truly patriotism in the country is dead. Now let me talk about Sukuma Wiki and Ugali.
This matter of heckling is two-way. It's twofold. Heckling is normally organized. There is a heckling that is organized, where people want to show disapproval, and mostly it's normally the local politics, where someone is vying for governor or for MCA or for MP, so he wants that person to be heckled so that the message can come out that that person is rejected. But the heckling in Embu, I don't know whether you should allow me to replay that video again. Let me replay that video. Now, the heckling in Embu was organic. The heckling in Embu was organic. Wakapigia Rigathi, wakapigia Uhuru, Ruto akiongea, wakaheckle. It was there. It was very organic. So you should actually, if you want to help Ruto, you should not stop asking, you don't be the SG, don't be this, don't be that. No. You should actually face the real reason why people are showing disapproval. I think through that you are making more sense than just victimization. But I want to explain. This is a clear sign that UDA party is coming down. And I want to digress and explain to you in the context of Kindiki calls for Mbarire to step down, why UDA is coming down. In politics, there is something called cross-section on politics. Cross-section in a cuboid, ukikata, if this is the shape of the phone, ukikata hii part, this cross-section is it, but the whole thing still remains. So that is what happens. This is an indicator of the fall of the UDA. Before getting to that, I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel. We are heading to 100,000 subscribers majestically. And let me just show you what's remaining. We're getting there majestically. Where? Let me get 99,755 subscribers. Imagine tubibakisha 245 tuingia 100,000. So kindly subscribe. Now, Kindiki wants the leadership of UDA in Mount Kenya to change for two reasons. Number one, himself, he was made the second deputy party leader. He comes from Mount Kenya East. And Cecil Mbarire is the UDA chairperson. She comes from Mount Kenya East. By design, she's seeing that UDA is being inclined on the other side. I remember, by the time Ruto was picking Mbarire as the UDA chairperson, the person who was supposed to take over that position was supposed to be Anne Waiguru. So in fact, there were two things. Anne Waiguru was to take over the position of UDA chairperson. Then Mbarire goes to vie as the Council of Governors chair. But then that changed, and Anne Waiguru went for the Council of Governors chair, and then Mbarire was actually given the UDA chairperson. But now after that impeachment, and of course by that time things were very fine because the deputy party leader, which was Rigathi Gachagua, was coming from Nyeri. Now what Kindiki and the team are realizing here is that UDA is, the image is UDA is only going to the east. And that's the first reason why you would want to check the UDA leadership. Number two, the second reason why the UDA is crumbling around this is Kindiki wants to establish the one center of power around him. And what am I saying? If you look at ANC UDA merger, there is one leg that Musalia Mudavadi have, and William Ruto is having the other side. In fact, ANC has been consumed, is eaten. Not that there is a merger. ANC is married because even before it, there was this party called UDA party. Nothing has changed. It's still UDA. Now, Mount Kenya is not having any bit of it. Probably, one thing that Kindiki wants is that she becomes the deputy party leader, not she. He becomes the deputy party leader and become the only mouthpiece for the UDA in that side. But look at this. Ruto Musalia deal is a top secret. I believe within UDA, probably even Musalia himself doesn't know what is the deal between him and Ruto. And why? Because Ruto is cunning. He deputy president slot, he promised kila mtu Mount Kenya. He promised everyone. Ruto is very cunning. He promised everyone this slot. This Ichungwa, Ndidi Nyoro, Alice Wahome, Rigathi Gachagua, Jane Kihara, Nani, all these people, Waihoro, all these people promised that position of deputy party leader, of the deputy president. So this is a top secret and no one knows how then it goes. I remember even Boni Khalwale was asking in Western during the president's tour. The other issue is Kindiki is advancing the Mount Kenya East narrative, and that is going to crumble that party down. It's going to bring that party in its knees. Better Rigathi was so passionate about UDA that even the first regional office of the UDA party is in Nyeri. And I remember Mutahi Kahiga saying that the Nyeri office has to be supported. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my take. And I strongly believe Kindiki is fighting a lost war, a lost cause by going after Mbarire. That should not be it.